Welcome in, everybody. It is Saturday night, December 13th, 2025, and it is the final, PLE of the year for the WWE Saturday night's main event. Probably for many people, the most anticipated or most dreaded show for them of the year. It was John Cena's final in-ring match of his career, the retirement tour. And John Cena's career is finally officially over. I am Max Sinnerberg. I am joined, as always, by Rami here on Bodyslam.net's post-show. Pretty eventful show. NXT, TNA people throughout the show, wrapping things up with John Cena. Some celebrities in the crowd, legends coming back. We're going to get into all of it. But Rami, we are currently, obviously, a couple minutes from the show ending. How are you doing, and how are your thoughts on the overall show here to kick us off?
This company is the fucking worst. Okay, I can understand the ending. I can understand in certain ways of storyline, future-wise and whatnot. But my God, they have the worst track record when it comes to putting over legends, trying to let them have a good send-off, trying to let them have like a good way out. Even if they do lose in the end, like certain people, like example, the Dwayne. When The Rock lost at WrestleMania 29, it was to, in a way, continue that build on of finally passing the torch.
Yeah.
We had so many years where The Rock was on top. Hulk Hogan came back, lost at WrestleMania, and, continued on from there. The Rock lost to Cena. Cena loses to Cody. Well, like we're seeing the passing of the torch. But in a situation, in a method like this, I don't see any build off from this besides of what are they going to prove in the future in 2026 when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship, because Gunther defeating, John Cena, ending the show off like this, everyone knows this, everyone saw what happened, but this happening and whatnot is, what's going to happen for the future. CM Punk is the World Heavyweight Champion. Cody Rhodes is the WWE Champion.
Yeah.
They look like they could be having year-long reigns, and if you have Gunther in that mix after he just made Cena tap out, lose every single week, every single month, then you're gonna have a big problem. But yeah, we have so much to talk about for this show. That's just that's not even the cream of the crop. There is so much, excitement that happened, so much fun, exciting matchups. But the opener, what I love the presentation of Obafemi. I love the way that they present him, and he presents himself as such a freaking beast. Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion, undisputed champion. He defeated, Roman Reigns at Mania. He finally beat John Cena in that, crazy all-out clusterfuck of a match that they had at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And for the last couple of months, it's been like, rinse and wash whenever it comes to the WWE. They like to go on with the same storylines over and over again until they reach WrestleMania season, and then they're like, boom, we gave you what you want, guys. We got you. Example, Cody Rhodes and Cena, or Cody Rhodes and Roman, or when he came in, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But we had to wait because we were like, okay, free agency talk. Cody Rhodes is not with AEW. What's he gonna do next? Came to WrestleMania, big rule. But then years passed by, and now we're just waiting for Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. But in the mix of all of that, they're like, hey, Drew McIntyre, you're a tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler. You should have been world champion multiple times in the last couple of years. But we're going to make you feud with all of our top guys. And that's your whole thing. It's just feuding with the top guys. You're not winning anything of world championship material. And I'm going to also argue something, but when it comes to NXT. But what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the opener before I yap my mouth off too much?
Yeah, I just want to say too, we have so many people already joining us so quickly. So thanks everyone. We're gonna break down here on this Bodyslam post show. We're gonna break down each of the matches here. We got 4 matches. We'll break down. Rami and I we're also gonna reminisce and talk some of our favorite John Cena moments or matches, whatever we feel like we want to talk about our experience with John Cena. I think it's fair. We'll probably end the show talking about that. But guys, we already have over 600 people already watching us. So welcome everyone. If you're new to Bodyslam, welcome. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have live videos every single day here on the channel. Follow us as well on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all of those things. And please, guys, comment along with us on YouTube.
Over 600 639 people. Come on, get some comments and get your
Yeah.
questions. And what were your favorite John Cena moments? What was your favorite moment of the night? What were your favorite moments over the years of watching John Cena? Have you ever met him? Did you ever have an experience or a moment where like he, changed your,
Yeah.
perspective, gave you hustle, loyalty, respect, and a spirit to never give up? Let us all hear about it tonight because what a his crazy night it was because we're just all waiting for that moment for that final entrance. All the band of wrestlers that have faced him. RVD popped me so hard because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like I remember watching ECW in that era where he was the ECW and the WWE champion. Like he wanted to carry both straps and everything, and I was like, that was the coolest time. And RVD over the years has always been one of the dopest motherfuckers in the world. But then you
Yes.
get like Mark Henry, like wrestling wise, you always like see these guys like growing up as a kid. You're like, they were beasts. Mark Henry ripping off the steel cage. I remember that episode, and then attacking Batista. I was like, holy moly, what
Yeah.
what a monster he was. And then feuding with John Cena, the fake retirement. That was one of my favorite moments because I believed it. I was like tears in my eyes, like man, little me's gonna watch Mark Henry actually retire, and then he just lariat, John Cena takes him out. It was just one of the best moments, and just everybody else, like Kurt Angle, the Ruthless Aggression era, even Elias, that popped me as well.
Yeah,
Like
that was weird, right? Yeah, that was
when I
an
saw
interesting one.
Elias, I was like, whoa, what the hell? Like that's the coolest thing in the world. Well, Elijah, Elias, but like but and what's so funny too is Kevin Owens next to him. I thought that was just the cream of the crop because
Yeah.
he hates him so much. He's like, you are Elias, and the whole story and everything.
Elijah
So
storyline. Yeah,
like
you're right. Yeah,
the
exactly.
Elias storyline, like that was one of the most goofiest times, but it also brought a smile to our faces during Wrench's time of bad booking.
Yeah, there and I see you post Dawson talking about how these Delulu wrestling fans are heated that Cope was not at the show. I think
Yeah,
again,
Cliff Corner Copeland was yeah not at the show. Like
yeah,
my goodness, I agree right there. Like I I wish he was at the show, but WWE also has the opportunity to reach out and everything. So
never
they
gonna
don't.
happen. Never gonna happen. I don't think it was ever gonna happen. I think people have worked Cope back in WWE the whole year so far, and again, he is
Yeah,
so he it's not like his contract's up anytime soon either with AEW. So, but it was weird too. Like for example, Randy Orton was not there because he was
yeah.
in
That
Saudi
broke
Arabia.
my
He was in Saudi
that broke
Arabia
my
promoting the Royal Rumble. A lot of the talent were in Saudi Arabia. Like I know Dom and Liv were also among the people in Saudi Arabia. So that's why not all the talent and the whole rosters were there. I know people wanted to see Randy Orton there, but he was in Saudi Arabia promoting the next PLE, which is the Royal Rumble in late January.
yeah.
So,
I can
did you think that was weird,
and
Rami?
it's such a schedule conflict with WWE as well because you
Yeah,
have John Cena's last match listed on this weekend, on this date, at this location, all that, and you have Randy Orton, Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and even Omos was there, like Omos Sapiens Rise, my man, but um all of them in Saudi Arabia. It's like John Cena's last match, and these important pieces to his story were
yeah.
not there to be there, be in attendance, be able to be by ringside and whatnot.
Love this
So,
comment. I'm not crying. You are from Brian on Facebook. Hey, a lot of people in the
me too,
crowd were
man.
crying. Obviously, you knew Cody was going to cry. But
Yeah, I was crying like a big baby,
where
like oh
are
my,
you?
like yeah,
Where are
like
you, Rami?
John Cena's when I was 5 years old or 6 years old, I had a VHS tape. I've explained it, like I've said this story like a billion times always, but I had a VHS tape of WrestleMania 20 when John Cena fought the Big Show. Up among those matches was Undertaker versus Kane, the Cruiserweight classic that they had during that night. The
Yeah.
Dudleys were in action. There's so much that happened. It was just a great night of wrestling, a great night of action. But John Cena lifting up Big Show, me as a kid seeing like a pretty strong motherfucker lifting up a 7 foot giant, you don't expect that to happen. So having that tape and watching it until literally it stopped working. It stopped because I watched it like 1,000 times. I got home from school, watched it. After SmackDown, watched it. Like that WrestleMania is engraved in my mind because of how many times I watched it and how many times I saw Cena come out and how many times I saw Kurt Angle fought Eddie Guerrero, and the main event of double murder suicide versus triple nose versus Shawn Michaels. Like there's just so many things that happened during that entire show, but like John Cena is like an important piece of my childhood. I had a chain gang Cody when I was 7. I had all of his action figures growing up. I had all of his shirts or hats or wristbands from the magazines. Like it's great what wrestling does for you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It keeps you on like a steady path to where you can enjoy it. Whether it's Japanese wrestling, lucha libre, professional wrestling, like in the States like TNA or WWE. Like growing up, we got to have a lot of great action.
Yeah.
John Cena, Undertaker, Batista, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, like even Shelton Benjamin, Jeff Hardy. Like there was so many great wrestlers that we got to see growing up, and it's great that we still get to see them in action. But it's also like down to earth and humbling when we get to see them retire, especially like John Cena in this moment. Not trying to bawl my eyes out here or anything like that, because I know it's gonna be
Let
a
it
long
out.
night of us talking like this. So it's just great what John Cena was able to do for us, and for us as fans, and for us growing up as adults. Hustle, loyalty, respect, and never give up model. And like what Brian said, I'm not crying, you are. I'm not crying, you are. Like if someone says like why is everything blurry, that's me basically. So I'm always gonna just have a very happy moment to
Yeah.
share about John Cena. So I'm happy about seeing his last match, but god damn it, he should have won. But
Well,
it's all good in the end. It's all good.
yeah, we're gonna absolutely get into the match.
We're,
Again,
we're gonna get we're gonna get to that. Yeah,
throughout the show, if you guys want to talk about John Cena, we'll focus on that. But we
yeah,
are going to break down the show, each of the
yeah.
matches.
Let's break down the
Let's get
show.
into the show here. So the show started with Cody Rhodes, the world champion, WWE champion, versus the NXT champion, Obafemi. Now, this week, I did not hated, honestly, the end to NXT this week. So I was already not in a great mood with NXT, where Javon won the Iron Survivor just to lose, of course, again to Obafemi. But we'll talk about Javon later. But Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes, not much build-up. Honestly, out of the NXT matches, this had the biggest build-up because Oba was at least on SmackDown last night. Cut a very quick promo on Cody. This match went around 8 minutes. Oba dominated the match, but it ends in a disqualification. Drew McIntyre showed up, started beating up Cody, and then Oba and Cody beat up Drew, and Oba and Cody stood tall together. I did not like this. I did not like that we started the show with a DQ finish. I think if you want to protect Obafemi and Cody Rhodes, right? You just don't have. I see that you shouldn't have edited like this. We're gonna get into that. I see you, Matthew. But I'm upset with the last match. I think a lot of people are. We're gonna get into people's hatred of the last match. I just, for me, I was honestly the most heated I was tonight was the beginning of the show. I hated the DQ. Cody hit 2 Cody cutters, not even a crossroads. Oba didn't hit any of his big stuff either. I just don't think it benefits anyone from doing the match. If, again, Cody is the WWE champion. It should not hurt Oba having Cody win the match. But it just seemed like they were in a position where they just didn't want to have one of them lose. So we have a DQ finish. So this was not for me. I thought they could have just done Cody beating Oba. Wouldn't be offensive. Oba maybe having a quick 5-minute squash also wouldn't be offensive to anyone. I'm so confused what they're going to do with these NXT people over the next month or so as we head into Royal Rumble season. Who's going to get called up, who will not. But again, do I think Oba is a main event WrestleMania guy? Yes, I think Oba is the now. And I think hopefully with John Cena retiring, it's time to start focusing on these younger talent to be in the main event scene. But for me, I was really excited for Cody and Oba. I was left pretty underwhelmed to start the show with a DQ finish. Rami, what were your thoughts on Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi?
I Of course, like I said in the very beginning, I love the presentation of Oba Femi of how
Yeah.
much like a boss beast he is and everything. He comes out, he gives off that presence of like Shaq Duncan or Chris Kaman, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna see a freaking monster just enter that paint and just destroy the whole league. But and he's the future. He is the future. He's gonna destroy everybody. Oba Femi is a god, basically. But when it comes to like this matchup and bringing it out. I don't think that WWE, really thinks about the how stupid and how shitty it
Yep.
is seeing the constant DQ, DQ, DQ. If you were gonna have Obafemi lose, it wouldn't have hurt him at all because he's still so young. He's still so um, light years away from the game of being not even like being prime. Like I'm not saying like he's not even prime in himself, but you're
Yeah.
in NXT right now. You're destroying all this competition. When you get to the main roster, everybody feels that type of impact. Jacob Fatu never had experience with NXT, but with him going to the main roster at first, he was presented as a massive beast, but then when he started getting into programs with like Damian Priest and with Jacob, Solo Sikoa and all these other guys, he started to get worn down more, and they started to get into more action. Same with Drew McIntyre as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys started to wear him down and make him actually face off in a 50-50 action rather than 70-30. But when it comes to Obafemi, he's a type of guy where he's gonna have to face those type of competitions. It's 70-30 most of the time when it's an NXT. Javon Evans is able to build off this underdog story, and he excelled so much tonight. Him and Slater, like when we get to that match, it was
Yeah.
very, very, very incredible. Like these two are the future, so young, so ready for the game. Like, and the WWE is in safe hands when it comes to talent. It's not in safe hands when it comes to creative ideas and creative booking and creative future storytelling because they like to visit back and say, "Hey, we're the ones who set that up," and it's like, really, it's not. Like the
Yeah.
wrestlers had a moment where they had like a face off, and they're like, "Oh, we went back to this moment." And it's like you can't always use like little detail parts and then say, oh yeah, that's cinema. It doesn't help a lot of the times. Cody Rhodes facing off against Obafemi, not a lot really, happened heavy except for Cody Rhodes fucking busting himself open. Typical Saturday night main event Cody Rhodes, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
always getting busted, always finding a way to be like, you know what? You know what NBC would love? A little bit of the blade. And it's so funny as hell. Like
That
I
was a
love it.
dangerous spot, man. I thought his
I,
head hit the back, not his ear. He's lucky it was just his ear, honestly, Cody.
Exactly. That's why he's so fucking extreme with it. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll go to the lengths of just being that, bruiser motherfucker.
Yeah.
Um, but it sets up nothing besides, oh, you can, find a WrestleMania match between Drew McIntyre and Obafemi. But even then, I don't think that Drew McIntyre losing at WrestleMania helps anybody in the sense of he's one of your future guys. You sign him on for this multi-year deal. Building up Obafemi in a spot like that, it helps, but it doesn't help when you're building off stories of he's gonna lose at WrestleMania, but he's gonna be fighting for the championship at Clash at the Castle in
Yeah.
3 months from then. Like with all these losses on top of everything, it doesn't
I
help anyone.
I agree. I thought I like the idea of doing Cody versus Oba. I just thought
Love it.
the DQ just isn't helping anyone involved. And I love Drew McIntyre, but he has lost to Cody now 2 straight times. Like both very clean. Like there's just no excuse to keep running back Drew and Cody at this point. And again, Oba will now be waiting for his New Year's Evil opponent because we're having a fatal 4-way match on Tuesday with Miles Bourne, Joe Hendry, Deion Lennox, and Leon Slater to determine the number 1 contender for New Year's Evil because Javon already has lost his spot for the title, which I got to be honest, I've never been more mad at wrestling in a while than I was mad on Tuesday. But I think Oba is clearly the guy. Out of all the NXT people
Yeah,
also on the show, he did get the biggest reaction. They were doing the big chants for his entrances. The
yeah,
crowd was split between Oba and Cody. So I thought for casual fans who maybe don't watch NXT, they clearly could at least tell Oba is a big star, at least on NXT. So I thought that was a good sign because not a lot of the rest of the NXT people got like the biggest reactions when they came out. So I was happy Oba
Leon Slater did get a good, I would say Leon Slater got a really good pop when he
Yeah,
came out. The crowd was singing his music, they were going crazy. Like, so I was really happy to see that he was him. And if you had to put on a, like, meter of who showed out the most, of course it's tied up, but
yeah,
I do love how much that Leon Slater came in with this opportunity and said, I'm gonna have a crazy match. And him and Styles, like when we get to that, like there's so
yeah,
much future booking we can tell between those two that we hope to happen.
yes, absolutely.
But like, you know, Obafemi in the end does not lose. Cody Rhodes does not lose in a way, like, so in the
Yep,
sense of getting pinned.
yep.
Drew McIntyre puts more, I guess, seeds of whatnot into his storyline with Cody Rhodes, which I don't really know what we can really, but what we can really do with it, because are we gonna wait till Royal Rumble to book this match? Like, we're gonna wait that many weeks and
Saturday
whatnot?
night's main
Like,
event, maybe. I don't know.
is there a Saturday main event in
Yeah, in
January?
in Montreal. No, in Montreal on January 24th, which is exactly a week before the Royal Rumble. So, um, January 24th in Montreal, Canada, is the next Saturday night's main event. They were promoting on the show a lot.
Yeah, they were. But every time I looked up, I was like, "Where's Jesse Ventura?" Like, people were like, "Oh, he's there," but I'm like, "Where is Jesse Ventura?"
Yep.
I only saw him like twice.
Yeah.
Like, these
Um, so
bastards every time.
So yeah, so there'll be another Saturday night's main event. That'll be our next Rami and I post show because the Royal
By the
Rumble
way,
is
thank you so much to the 1,000
yeah, unbelievable.
people that are in attendance right now watching us yap about this.
We're just getting
And me lose
started,
my mind.
and we're
And
just
me
getting
losing
started.
my mind. Yeah, exactly. We're just getting started.
Let's move
God.
let's move to the next match. So also, by the way, in between the matches, they were doing
Uh,
obviously. Yeah, sorry, you go, Rami. Sorry.
no, my apologies. I just wanted to mention I agree with you with being pissed off about Tuesday night, because I literally said this past Friday, like last Friday
Oh my
night,
God.
before the NXT deadline happened, Ricky needs to turn heel. If you're gonna set up a moment where you have Obafemi versus Ricky, if someone has to, if one of
Yeah,
them wins, they face Cody Rhodes. Okay, let there be a low blow, let there be a spear. Ricky Saints
sure.
wins there. Builds out that cheating moment where you can move Oba out of the way, prepare him for the Royal Rumble, and have that big moment and big shine there. He didn't like not impress tonight, but I feel like it could have went either way for both guys, of Oba and Ricky, of the pop, the reaction, the match, and the ending as well. Not really the ending, more so. I feel like, because Oba being the face that he kind of is, like, everyone's always gonna love him. He doesn't build himself off as a heel or like a face. It's
He's
more
a
like
tweener for sure. Yeah,
tweener, anti-hero, as they say. So,
yeah.
um, but I think Ricky Saints turning heel the following Tuesday, I was like, that made no sense. It wasted a little bit of time. It They say that it is only going to be for him to get sent off of NXT by Javon Evans, and then for Javon Evans to beat Obafemi at Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend. Like, so Oba's not going up to the main roster. We're gonna wait till he's like after, like, what do you call it, March,
Hmm.
or like March or April. Sorry, April 18 and 19 is Mania. So are they gonna run a draft? We don't fucking know. And if they don't
Yeah.
run a draft, then like it's so fucking confusing, because we're like,
And we're
we
supposed to
want
be
to
at
see these
call
guys.
ups too. We're supposed to get call ups very soon. So, because I
I don't know
thought the call up would be Oba putting over Javon at New Year's Evil, and that means Oba can go to the Rumble, and then after a great performance in the Royal
exactly.
Rumble, he can just stay on the main roster. But now I just have
That's what
no idea. Again, they have really fumbled the Javon Evans thing. They just have really fumbled it. People we'll talk about 21-year-olds. Sometimes when you're 21, you need to be booked as a top guy. And sadly, those 21-year-olds at this point are not. So in between the matches, by the way, we're going to get into Bailey and Sol Ruka in just a second. They did these tribute videos where celebrities, legends,
hmm
current wrestlers were giving their thank yous to John Cena. In between all these commercials, I did think it took the air out of the crowd in the beginning, where we had a DQ finish and such a long break in between matches, and it kind of killed the energy towards the beginning of the Bailey and Sol match. It picked up towards the end. So we had Bailey versus Sol Ruka. Lyra came out with Bailey. Sol Ruka came out with, Zarya came out with Sol Ruka because on Tuesday, Zarya's like, can I come to the match? And Sol's like, of course, you're invited. Bailey did hug Trish Stratus and Eve Torres on her entrance. I thought this match was a really good job at showcasing Sol Ruka, her athletic ability, a beautiful moonsault. She hit an incredible DDT where she flipped off the top rope or flipped, in the rope into a DDT. Was really effective. The finish of the match I didn't love. I thought Sol could have just won with the Soul Snatcher, and that could have been that. But they had Bailey roll kind of out of the ring. And then when Sol brought Bailey back in the ring, Bailey went for a roll-up. Then Sol reversed that into a roll-up. That was the finish. I prefer just, boom, Soul Snatcher. That's a good finisher. Boom, 1, 2, 3. That could have been it. I didn't think we needed the extra 30 seconds after taking a finisher for her to already be ready for a roll-up. But again, This was the right finish. I think out of all the NXT people on the show, this was the one everyone thought was going to get a win. Bailey doesn't need to win this match. She's in tag feud. She's at this point too where she can start putting people over. And Sol has been someone who the main roster seemingly really wants to use. She was at Evolution with Zarya in the tag team championship match. Clearly Triple H likes, and that brass likes Sol Ruka. So Sol Ruka beats Bailey. I thought the match was very good. I'm just very mixed on the finish. I thought we got to an unnecessary Soul Snatcher, boom. Because even the replay was funny. When they were showing the replay for the match, they stopped the replay after the Soul Snatcher. That should just been the finish. They didn't even show the roll up on the finish. So, but I thought, again, I'm a big fan of Sol Ruka, and obviously Bailey's one of my favorite 2 or 3 women of all time in pro wrestling. So, so really cool to see Bailey put her over. So what are your thoughts, Rami? Sol Ruka defeating Bailey.
I have the same opinions as you, of course, when it comes to how, of course, incredibly talented Sol Ruka is and how much of a legend Bailey has become in the last 10, 11 years.
Yep.
I remember her in 2014 when I was watching all the NXT takeovers and just seeing her grow there. Her, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, all the women there before going up to the main roster and going through the years of all the hard work that she's, achieved and overcame and, going from being the hugging face to being the despicable role model heel. It's such a great time and a great turn that she had. But, when it came to, of course, tonight, I enjoyed their match. I agree with you when it came to the end. But I feel like when it comes to Saturday main event, they like to book the replica type of finishes that they had back in those 80s and 90s type of events. So they're always looking for a way to find a finisher, get the person out of there as if when you take an RKO and you slip underneath the ropes, all of a sudden they're still good and you roll them in the ring and you still get a roll up. It's weird because it's I already beat you, so you're basically stunned when I get you over to get the roll up. But other than that, I think they both did incredibly well. Of course, Bailey's been doing a great job. Lostrom, that she recently posted about, and just her work in the ring with Lyra Valkyria as a team, and her singles run as well. Everything that Bailey has done has been incredible. Sol Ruka has been achieving so much in NXT that by the time she comes up to the main roster, she's so highly touted. Her and Zarya already has a great team, but when it does come time for them to feud with each other, for them to be against each other, I think that we have ourselves one of the best rivalries on our hands. And just so much that can happen for both women and all 3 women, going into the future, including as Lyra Valkyria as well, who was in the corner for Bailey. That women's tag team division, if they can keep everybody together, it could really blossom so well. But that thing with the women's division is that you can have all the best women in the world. It's just about how you book them. If you can't book them so well, then you just have a women's division. So they're just sitting there just doing nothing. So I'm glad that tonight they were able to do something great, especially for John Cena's last time is now event. He wanted to give an opportunity for these NXT wrestlers and for TNA X Division champion Leon Slater.
Yep.
It feels like we're like putting him on like a different type of pedestal and everything like that. Like, oh, he's here, and then the NXT wrestlers are right here.
Sure.
Nothing lower, of anybody. But of course, I'm happy that Sol Ruka won, builds up to her, going for the NXT championship in the future, that she beat a former champion. She can have an opportunity there. But then we all know how championship matches go whenever you have a best friend in your corner. All of a sudden, your best friend's like, hey, man, I want you to win. You are the champion. And all of a sudden, just chair to the back and just kills them right on the spot. And we're like, I thought you were best friends here. Like,
Hey, NXT does that more than anyone either. Just this year alone, they did the Blake Monroe,
yeah.
Jordan Grace finish, and just Tuesday they did the Ricky Saints, Siobhan finish. So they do love the best friend costume. But
Don't even forget Izzy Dame and Tatum
But
Paxley
Izzy
as
and
well.
Tatum, they do this all the time.
Come
It's
on
very
now.
repeated.
Come on now.
And I like this is just an NXT problem. Like Zarya literally tried to spear Soul like 2 weeks ago, and they have completely moved past the fact that happened.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. I was just in the spirit of competition. Like, what is that supposed to mean? You tried to kill me, and you're like, this is competition, brother. Like, okay.
Like, Shawn Michaels, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, in-ring performer. Booking wise, this has been a rough couple weeks for Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. So I'm hoping we can bounce back.
It's been a rough stretch for every like we went from having like WrestleMania 40 and being like, oh, what's next after that? You know what I mean? And then for the last year and a half now, it's been awful. It's been awful.
And it doesn't help that Triple H is getting booed out of the wazoo towards the end of the show. So we're gonna get into Triple H getting booed.
You fucked up
later. So then we get to, because we're gonna guess what, we're gonna talk for a long time about the John Cena match. I just want to get through these first three matches, and then we'll really dive deep into the John Cena Gunther match. Then they showed some other legends before this tag match: Michelle McCool, Mark Henry, Kurt Angle, all these people sitting ringside. Sami Zayn was ringside for this match. As we get the Raw Tag Team Championship match, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee defeating Javon Evans and Leon Slater. I think in ring-wise, this is definitely the best match on the show. Now, while saying that, I thought the match was actually way shorter than I was expecting. Like, it kind of, when the match ended, I was like, wow, that was like, because you could definitely tell, at least they knew they didn't have a lot of time, because Javon and Leon went crazy in the first like 2 minutes of this match. Like, right as AJ and Dragon gave the belts up, they just started attacking them. And when top rope, the huge tope from Javon, and then Leon does the one over the barricade, which is really cool. Leon got to do that Swanton 450, which is one of my favorite finishers in wrestling right now.
It looked so scary landing on AJ. Oh my God.
Javon gets so much airtime on the OG cutter. Like, he's obviously very high in the air, but it feels like he's in the air for so long, and it's very impressive. Again, Javon and Leon Slater, they're 21 years old. Clearly just so amazing. And they clearly are, in my opinion, top people who'd be booked like top people. Now, the finish itself got kind of muffled because AJ was going for the phenomenal forearm, and he basically slips off the top rope. Now, Leon Slater, 21 years old, did the veteran thing, which is get right into a pinfall instantly after something like that happens. I was really like, wow, very impressed by Leon for doing that. But then Leon going for the top rope, and he got caught into a really good Styles clash for the finish. So AJ and Dragon Lee are still the tag team champions. Again, I didn't think Leon.
Wait, was it for the tag team titles?
Yeah, it was. It was.
So I'm so like this whole weekend and this whole week was just like so confusing. Like, it was like
it was for the titles.
It's listed as non-title. Like yesterday, I saw like an article say that it was listed as non-title match. And then John Cena's opening up the fucking show, and then like Godzilla set to appear. Like, what's going on here, people? Like, I'm so confused here. Like, but yeah, crazy match. If it was not for the titles, I would have been more than happy with them, winning the match, Slater and Evans. But my God, they did so well. Dragon Lee taking all those big moves and bumps. Like, that man had something to sell, and it was great. So I was really excited for this matchup, especially the pop that Leon Slater got. and introducing him as X Division champion, something you never thought you'd hear. You know what I mean? When you're playing these video games, when you're creating all these championships with your friends and whatnot, or just by yourself on the universe mode, or just in the exhibition stuff, you always like create a TNA title, WC, ECW, AEW, all these titles to have yourself a good time. But when you actually hear that and you actually get to see someone young like Leon Slater and someone as great as he is and see him perform with AJ Styles, someone he's looked up to so much, like they explain the story about how his family, of course, watching for overseas and everything, at such a late time and whatnot.
Yeah.
And just him coming out there performing, having this incredible, match with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee alongside Evans. Evans is built on for a great, great, future for NXT, winning the NXT World Championship, having a great run, and because like that's the thing too, you never know how long he can hold his championship for. If he finally holds it, the goal is for him to hold it for over a year at least, because he's the next big thing. You don't want to rush him so talent-wise when there's so much talent that's already going through NXT. That's my opinion, of course. I think that,
I
everybody
think
should
he's ready
have
now. I
a
do. I do.
he's ready now, of course, but like with how stacked the main roster is going to become,
Yeah.
Femi and Braun Breaker, those two are gonna rule on, and then Javon Evans is gonna be back in the same storyline if he gets called up to the main roster anytime soon. So I think taking a year from now lets everything get like not like disappear from your mind, but when it comes back to it, we're able to enjoy Evans and Obafemi feud
Yeah.
after Stand Deliver. Especially because we'll be dealing with this for the next what 2, 3 more months or so, like to WrestleMania season. So like weekend even, like just it's gonna be a long, long time. But Slater and AJ Styles, I wanted to mention this. I'm very, very excited that AJ pinned Slater
Yep.
because this now can plant some seeds if we can get an X Division Championship matchup in the future, or even just a matchup at TNA for AJ Styles against Slater or against any of these other talent. Because if he can pin Slater, then you're telling me there's a chance that he can pin Frankie Kazarian and win the World Heavyweight Championship. But if AJ Styles in his final year can win the TNA World Title, I'll be more than happy. But yeah,
Sorry.
I think my
Really.
my apologies.
No, you're good. Really quick. So Triple H is on the post show, doing his interview. Obviously, not a press conference, doing his interview, and there were more There were UF'd up chants. There were LA Knight chants, and then moments ago, very loud AEW chants as Triple H is talking. So very interesting. We're about to break down the main event, guys. We're going to break down John Cena's final match. But I am shocked, by the way. It's funny. AEW chants, and everyone's tweeting right now, AEW chants are loud in Washington. It's funny. I really feel like the audiences have become so separated now. Like I think when AEW started, there was obviously crossover, but WWE has gone so mainstream, right? Very
Hmm.
much the casual fans. You really haven't seen any single like AEW chants anymore at WWE shows or anything like that. So it is fascinating that people were chanting that during Triple H's post match. But I think it's time. We want to spend the majority of our time here talking about John Cena's final match. Now, before we actually get into this, I have to just jinx myself. We had a segment where The Miz was talking in the ring. The Miz was wearing his gear that he beat
Yeah.
John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania. And now R-Truth then comes out.
Oh, but which, by the way, I want to
Yeah.
mention, I love that WrestleMania for that. Not that I love it. It's not like a great WrestleMania because there's
No.
certain moments that happen during it that were like, okay, hot pop. Like for example, Randy and CM Punk had a great, amazing,
Yeah,
phenomenal
good
match.
match.
Um, then we had the Core fight, Kofi Kingston, The Big Show, Santino
Yeah.
Marella, and Kane. Like what a crazy match that was. 10 out of 10. I recommend it to every wrestling historian. But then we also had your all-time favorite Jersey native Snooki. She
All right.
came out, of course. She had a great match, of course.
Did
Teaming
she?
alongside teaming alongside Trish Stratus and the leader of the Jomo Sapiens. We're gonna eat your nuts.
There are there's 3 matches on this show I like, which is I liked Cody and Ray.
Great match. Great match.
Obviously I liked the singles match we just talked about with the Randy and Punk. And I also enjoyed obviously Taker and Hunter. But this match show, as I said, had Snooki on it, not good. It had Michael Cole beating Jerry Lawler, not good. Like Edge versus Del Rio. I mean, this is like we're getting into like rough territory here. So this is
dude. Why did they give us Edge versus Santino, dude? I would have taken that. Like, come on.
Geez, I really hope this is not true. There are "We won" Vince chants now on the post show. That's not what we need. That's actually the opposite of what we need.
Y'all just tarnished yourselves. Go to jail.
Hey, I respect the AEW chants, not "We won" Vince. So Miz comes out, then R-Truth comes out, and R-Truth said, because Miz, you switched the balls around, so you gave yourself a second chance to be in the tournament. You allowed this person to not be in the John Cena Alliance. And I was like, oh, who is it? I assumed it would just be R-Truth. And you read it, and it says Joe Hendry, and then Miz says his name. Joe Hendry comes out, massive pop. Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation on Miz. Hendry and Truth hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. This was definitely like a WTF moment. I was like, this is really happening right now.
Yeah, this is something you book, and then you're like, yeah, this would never happen in a million years. Like, who does this? Like, it was beautiful. I thought it was amazing because Joe Hendry, the smile is like, like infectious and everything. It's just so funny just seeing the turnaround and everybody just say his name. And come on, like 19,000 people cheering for this man. Like that's amazing thing to see. A lot of people on social media are like, fuck this guy, he's a piece of shit. And we're like, whoa, what's going on here? And then like, we see him out there and everyone just loves him. He's just so great. Say his name and he appears. And he did. He appeared. It was so good.
No longer a TNA wrestler. He is fully signed at WWE. So
exactly. So it's very fun to see that, especially after WrestleMania, coming in as the World Heavyweight Champion of TNA and against Randy Orton. That was such a very fun, interesting match that we had. And of course, when he did the turnaround, got hit with the RKO, like, what a time to be alive.
What a time is correct. I was really happy. And also, if you're not familiar, Joe Hendry is very public in his interviews on how much John Cena has meant to his career. And he said in an interview with Chris Van Vliet that after WrestleMania, like even after Cena won the match, he still came up to Joe after Cena won the main event, still talked to him and gave him advice. So obviously meant the world for Joe to be on a show like this. So, but now, Rami, it is go time. Let's talk about John Cena tapping out to Gunther in his final match. Now, I want to say this right off the bat. To rant this right off the bat, I do want to say this. Gunther is one of the best performers in the world. And I think the biggest problem with this feud and having Gunther in the matches, it's made people hate Gunther for the wrong reasons. Like now people are pretending this guy can't talk on the mic. This guy can't wrestle. Why is he's not a big enough star to be wrestling Cena? I thought he was honestly the perfect call. He played the villain role so well in this main event match. So Gunther, by the way, he gets his regular entrance. Cena took a while. The music, everyone was building. Cena comes out. So let's talk about the particular. So Cena also shook hands with, as you brought up earlier,